What's going on, guys? We're back with another video. This one will be going over my playoff predictions. There's some big news that came out very recent before filming this, which is Gus Edwards out for the year, and also Marcus Peters. They also fear that he tore an ACL. Luckily, I had the Ravens as my 6th seed anyways, so I think that they have Le'Veon Bell. I think they might pick up somebody. They could pick up Latavius Murray. I think if they offered the Raiders a good enough deal for Kenyon Drake, I think they'd probably take it since they're kind of desperate. Not a huge Le'Veon Bell fan anymore, so I think they'll probably grab another guy. But I think that the Marcus Peters, if he was out for the year, that'd be a pretty big blow. But yeah, I don't have a problem with them still being the 6th seed. It doesn't change it up too much. So these are my final playoff seeding projections that I had in my other two videos. Patriots 5, Titans 4, Chargers 7, Bills 2, Ravens 6, Browns 3, and 49ers 7, Rams 2, Packers 3, Cowboys 6, Washington 4, Seahawks 5. So, I already talked about why I have these guys there. So, if you have a problem with any of the seeds, you can check out my explanation in the other video. But let's go to the wildcard round winners. So I have the Patriots beating the Titans. It's kind of a bold take. I know they're on the road. I just think that coaching will be a big factor. I think Mac Jones will settle in nicely. And I just think Titans defense is not... It's improved a little bit, but I just think that it's still not quite there. And then the Patriots have all those guys returning. I think people are kind of underestimating how good they can be. And I just think that their offense, if Mac Jones plays well, I think their offense should heavily outmatch their defense. So yeah. For the next game, this one's going to be offensive shootout for sure. And I think the Bills still come on top. They do have a slightly better defense. Chargers defense is it's sneaky good. And they bring in a defensive coach with Brandon Staley. But I just still don't think they're quite there yet, and the Bills are. Ravens, Browns. I already had the Browns winning before I heard of the whole Gus Edwards thing. Now it makes it pretty easy unless they get somebody. Marcus Peters being out too would make it even easier. Browns, they're just such a powerhouse team. Their roster's so good. Best offensive line in the league. Defense pretty solid too. Baker's on that contract year. He doesn't want to... I guess that puts pressure on him. But he does not want to have a bad playoff outing, or else that's not going to be good. I think he'll show up. And, yeah, I think the Browns just have too much talent to lose this. And if Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters... Well, I think it's already official that Gus is out for the year. Marcus Peters is out, too. That's a giant blow. But I think the Ravens still should be able to make the playoffs as a wild card team. But I'm sticking with my 6th seed for them. I don't think they'll drop out of the wild card spot. So on to the NFC, we got the 49ers and Rams. That should be a pretty good matchup. I think that the Rams still will win. They'll have that giant stadium just packed. I don't think Justin Fields will be able to handle that pressure, and also the pressure being in the playoffs. Didn't have a whole lot of experience at NDSU for the last couple of years. I think the Rams are maybe a slightly better roster. I think 49ers probably have a better defense. Slightly. Rams defense is pretty solid. But the Rams offense is a lot better. They've got better receivers. Their O-lines are a little similar. I might give the edge to the 49ers. But I don't think their line is bad by any means. I think that they'll have a hard time against the 49ers D-line. But I think that they'll still be able to get it done. Matt Stafford has always been good under pressure. He'll get his first playoff win, as crazy as that sounds. Packers-Cowboys, I think the Packers are much better. It'll be interesting, though, because it's Mike McCarthy. But I think that honestly benefits the Packers more than it does the Cowboys, because I think that game plan has shifted a lot since LaFleur arrived, and I think the Cowboys are kind of trying to do what Mike McCarthy has always done. I wouldn't say that the Packers have improved this offseason, really. They'll have people back. They'll have Bakhtiari back. It'll be January, Wisconsin. I feel like that always gives them the edge a little bit. I think that'll make the Cowboys play a bit worse. And they just have the better roster, better coach. I think that's a pretty easy pick. Football team beating the Seahawks. That might surprise some of you. I think that the Seahawks are a team that benefits a lot from being at home. Being in Washington's really a bigger disadvantage for them than it is for other teams. And the other big reason is I just don't think that O-line can hold up the 49ers D-line, which is arguably the best D-line. And so they'll get after it. I think that the Seahawks probably won't even score like 2 touchdowns. It'll be like a 14-10 game or something. But yeah, I think that their D-line's just too good for the Seahawks O-line. So, divisional winners. We got the Chiefs beating the Patriots. I think that the spotlight might just be a little too bright for Mac Jones. Don't think he's there yet. Although I do like him a lot. I do think that he has a good shot at winning Rookie of the Year. I think he'll have a fine season. The Chiefs just have such a good roster. Upgraded, kind of retooled their offensive line. So their O-line definitely improved. I think they should be able to run it a little bit more. Their main issue last year was just health, offensive line health. I think that was the biggest reason they did not beat the Bucs. I think the lack of star power on the Patriots on offense will come into play here. Don't think they have the receivers and just the offensive arsenal to keep up with the Chiefs. The Patriots defense is pretty good, but it's not like Bucs level to slow them down at all. I just think the Chiefs are the easy pick here. They're the first seed. Bills-Browns. I got the Bills. I think it'll be a close game. Think that it could be a little bit of a shootout. Both defenses are kind of similar. They have some bright spots in the secondary. I think that Myles Garrett will have an impact on this game, but I do think Josh Allen is one of the better quarterbacks under pressure. So I'm not really too worried about their defense stopping the Bills. And I just think that the Bills are the better team. I think Josh Allen is much better than Baker. So what stopped the Bills last year was the run game. They got stuffed pretty easily by the Chiefs. But the Browns don't have that interior defensive line that the Chiefs do. They don't have Chris Jones. And I also could see Baker throwing a couple picks or two. I do like Baker. I just think that he's not a top-tier quarterback. I think that he limits the Browns a little bit from being a Super Bowl team. And I think that one or two turnovers from him is what cost them the game. So for Rams-Packers, I'm taking the Rams this time. I think last year Aaron Donald he had some rib injury or something. He did not look good at all. I do think Elgton Jenkins is a very good guard and center. He can play like anything. He's very talented offensive lineman. But I still think that Aaron Donald, I'm not in the party that says like Elgton Jenkins just completely shut him down and that he wasn't injured, because I just don't think that's true. So I think he'll be more of a force this time. They also lost Corey Linsley and Rick Wagner. Bakhtiari should be back though, so that's good. But I just think that that's one thing people are forgetting about. And I think that Matthew Stafford is just kind of good, and he's always looked good on the Lions against the Packers, and I think that continues. I'm not sure what it is, but he always just plays really well against the Packers. He always did on the Lions most of the time. And now he's got that Rams team behind them. So I think that the Rams should be able to make a deep run. They've got the roster for it. And then home field is pretty big too. Washington versus the Bucks. I think it'll be a pretty similar game to last year's playoff. I think it'll be low scoring. I think Tom Brady will struggle. Although I want to say that the Bucks O-line will look better this time, but I think that Washington's D-line is going to improve just as much as the Bucks throughout the season, because they're both very young, developing, and I think that the Washington's O-line is still a little suspect. I don't like Fitzpatrick a lot, especially under pressure. The type of pressure that he's going to be facing, even more so. So yeah, I think that was a pretty easy pick. So for the AFC Championship game, I surprisingly enough am going with the Bills. I really want the Chiefs to not make it to the Super Bowl again, which is the main reason I'm taking the Bills. But I also do believe that the Bills actually can win this game. I think that their offense is only getting better. They have some of the best coaching. Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier. Defense is solid. Hopefully, Greg Rousseau can get after Patty. Chiefs O-line looks a little different. Hopefully it works, but that's still a little bit of concern. We don't know if it's going to work, even though they did get a lot of good pieces. But I just think that the Bills' offense should be able to keep up with the Chiefs' offense this time around. Hopefully they can get their running game going. That was a big issue of why they could not beat the Bills, or why they couldn't beat the Chiefs last year. Still a concern. I think they're going to be able to throw the ball all over them, though. Chiefs let go of Rashad Breeland. Probably miss him this game. Mathieu is going to have to do a lot of work. I just think that the Bills get over the hump this year, take them down in Arrowhead. I've got the Bucs going back again. I just think their team is too stacked. Brought everyone back. Brady, really good leader. I just really don't know how you could say that anybody can beat the Buccaneers as of now. I think that their roster is a tier above the Rams, other than like Aaron Donald, and Rams have a really good receiving core, but Bucks still a little bit better. Both their running back rooms are. It's probably the worst thing about both teams, honestly. But it's crazy saying that Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones that's their worst position on the team, but that just shows you how good they are. I think that their defense will be a bit too much. I don't see the Rams getting any run game going. I don't know how good Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel will look, but I don't think they're going to be that good to put up anything noticeable against the Buccaneers. And yeah, just the pressure, quarterback pressure, is going to be pressure on Matthew Stafford much easier than any of the other teams that you faced. I know 49ers probably get a lot of pressure too, but I think Bucks are still a step ahead of everyone. So yeah, Bucks Bills in the Super Bowl. And my winner is the Bucks. I think that the Bucks are just, as I said, they're a grade letter up. Everyone, roster-wise. Coaching's good. I do really love Sean McDermott, but I just think that defense is a little too much. Offense is probably a slight advantage over the Bills' defense too. And I think that though Josh Allen, I've ranted about how good he is against pressure, but I think that if your O-line just totally crumbles, that it doesn't even matter. And I think that there's just so many weapons on the Bucks. I think that even if they rush like 3 men, that they're going to be getting significant pressure. Nothing against the Bills' O-line. I just think that JPP, Shaquille, Lamonte David, Devin White, they just have so many weapons. Secondary's not bad either. Whitehead, Antoine Winfield Jr. Just there's so many weapons. I do think that it's a much closer game than the Chiefs game. I don't think they'll get embarrassed like the Chiefs kind of did, but I still think the Bucks could win by more than a touchdown. I'm excited to see the Bucks this year because last year they kind of like peaked towards the end of the season. They struggled a while just because I think COVID, Tom Brady arriving, just not everybody was on the same page, and I think that they just got better and better as the regular season went. Playoffs, they got even better. I think they might have a couple ups and downs in the regular season, but I just don't see anybody stopping them just yet. So that's my playoff and Super Bowl prediction. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know who you have. And make sure to watch my season awards video and betting videos that are coming out also tonight.